but I'm so grateful that you stand with me as we try to make sure that we care for North County. And so I'm not going to belabor, but what I am going to do, out of respect for you all and the sacrifice you made, I am going to pass I learned this from, I don't know if I learned this from Evolve or somewhere else, but I am going to pass, it might have been the SEIU Health Organization. I'm going to pass the virtual microphone, and then I'll just call a name for you to introduce yourself. If you could tell us kind of where you live, maybe if that's a subdivision, or if you just want to say a zip code, that's fine too. And then just tell me, to help Shalonda ground herself in this day, one thing that you're grateful for. How about that? Is that okay? So who you are, where you live, and one thing that you're grateful for. So I'm going to start off with,
yourself?
I'm going to start off with, nope. I'm going to start off with Shantae. I'm being very silly, everybody. I have to relax. I'm with my people.
Yes,
I can
please
breathe.
Yeah.
I want to start off with Shantae because y'all know that Shantae's birthday was yesterday.
Oh,
The
Happy belated
phenomenal
birthday.
Shantae had her
happy
50th
belated
birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, Shantae.
Lady birthday. Gray hair.
She is the phenomenal 50-year-old. And well, if I can look that good at 47, I'm gonna be happy. So Shantae, please start with introducing yourself.
Well, I am Shantae Young, legislative assistant to Councilwoman Webb. And it's so interesting that that question would come up because I'm extraordinarily grateful for not just turning 50. I've been real emotional today, y'all, but for the level of support and love that I have felt in the last 24 hours. Like, I have really, really marveled at God and all of the blessings that I got in the last 24 hours, not monetary, not
materialistic,
tangible or anything like that, just like the thoughtfulness of people and how much, they really showed love. So that's what I'm grateful for. So let me pass the mic, because I'm 50, to Mr. Alonzo Adams. Mr. Adams, how you doing today?
Let me unmute. I don't know how many other misters are on here, but I'm not wearing any makeup either, so I hope I look okay.
Thank God. Thank God.
I am one of those regular.
Number.
I'm a regular dude. I don't normally wear makeup, so I'm hoping that's okay in this day and age. I currently live in North County in the Barrington Downs subdivision. And as a minister, I can't get started on what I'm grateful for because we would really be here all day. But truly grateful for God's presence, which brings purpose, power, and peace.
Now you got to pass.
Thank you, Mr. Alonzo. Now you can pass it on to someone else you see on the screen.
Well, I'm grateful that I don't have my glasses either because it's hard to read those small letters. Let me pass it on then to Miss Kelly. And Lord, help me say this right. Is it McGowan? McGowan,
you had it. You
okay.
had it. You had it. Thank you for that. Good evening, everyone. Kelly McGowan. I actually live in the 18th ward in the city of St. Louis. However,
She's honorary.
I feel like right now, I pretty much am a resident of the 4th district.
Let's get my address, Kelly.
I mean, but I'll say that and I work through the entity Evolve, so that's my connect to my North County fam. And I'm just grateful to be able to be in this space with people working to build and connect with other people that want best for their community. We in this space, we in this work. That's why I really appreciate the councilwoman and Shantae as well for what y'all do. I made my little comment last night, and I told my significant other, because he listened after I made my comment, and the guy that came on after with him being ignorant. And I appreciate that y'all continue to fight for your community. So it's just a blessing to be in this space. And I'm
Pass the mic, Kelly.
gonna pass it to Miss Sheridan.
Hey guys. I'll change my name in here. I'm the iPhone lady. But anyway, thank you all for having this meeting tonight. And like Kelly said, I'm Sheridan Jones, and also North County representative for Evolve. And I'm grateful for our what do we call it? Our togetherness. Our coming together as one and trying to help North County as a whole. I'll pass it to Tammy.
Hello, everyone. This is Tammy. I stay in the Florissant area also, Bellman Farms. I would like to say that I am blessed and also grateful to be among good people so we can get some things taken care of in North County. And I'm also part of Evolve. And I'll pass it to Julie.
I'm Julie Griffith. I live in Spanish Lake. I'm president of the community association. And I just love all the people. Oops, I got to turn my camera on. Sorry. I just love all the people in Spanish Lake and getting to know them and everybody else. I am grateful for, number one, being alive, for having the money to live the way I want to live, and for my warm house. And I'm grateful we're one day closer to spring.
I hear you.
And I will pass it on to Sharon Cookie Mitchell. And I'm going to turn my video off.
Hi, everyone. I'm just happy. I'm happy that we're doing something for North County. Really pleased Spanish Lake is coming along with the assistance of everybody on this telephone. I live in Spanish Lake and they call me Cookie, and I'm just a team player for Spanish Lake. I'm trying to see who to pass it to, so just bear with me. Erica. I pass it to Erica.
Good evening. I am Erica Williams. I live in Florissant. I'm actually in District 1, like right next to District 4. And I run a nonprofit organization called A Red Circle, which services a lot of District 4 and District 1 and a little bit of, I believe it's Kelly Dunaway's district. Mm-hmm. So I am grateful for, one, being healthy. I was cleared of COVID last week, and there's still some residual cough. I read a story today about long COVID, and so I'm paying attention to that and making sure if I need to go get some extra medicines or anything. But I am grateful for the opportunity to do what I do for my job, to serve my community full time and hire people. And it's just a blessing that I don't take for granted. So thankful to be here. And let's see if there's anyone else. Oh, I will call on Janet.
Yay, I'll pop on for a second here. I'm so tired, y'all. Janet Lewis, my organization is Rustic Root Sanctuary. We're working on food justice up in North County. And I'm just really excited because, I also am the board chair of the CDC for a couple more months. My term is about to be up, so I'll be focusing 100% on rustic roots. And I'm just excited about being a part of the Spanish Lake community and North County community. And I'm really excited about how everything just feels like people are coming together right now in solidarity and community to get stuff done and work through these issues. And I just feel like we got the power to make the change happen. So let's get to work. So I'm just excited to be here, see what this is all about. Hopefully be part of, what is it called? Webb Force. And let's get North County remade. Or not remade, but let's just get the things that every other community gets that they take for granted. But I'm happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
You're on
I
mute.
think that is everybody. I was just checking to make sure no one was missed, but I am grateful. I am grateful for each of you because as I've been in your presence, you've encouraged me, you've corrected me, you've accepted me, and I am grateful that we're all on this mission to serve North County. I tell people all the time, I'm not here for a title. I promise y'all I'm not. It's definitely not for the paycheck. But I'm here because North County has so much potential, and I love North County. Y'all know my story. Been here 20-some years, raised my boys here, and I want my boys to stay here. But things have got to change. But what we have right now at this moment in time that I don't believe since I've ever been here I've seen before, we have solidarity, we have vision, potential, and money. Let me say that one more time. And money. It's so hard when you want to thrive to make a difference and do transformational things, but resources aren't there. There is money beyond ARPA, money beyond infrastructure. There is money out there, and there are people that we're connecting with that can say, let me show you how to get that. And it doesn't come through me. It's me learning someone and connecting with someone else that can tell them how to get those resources. So I'm excited and grateful about that. I won't get too long-winded, just grateful, thankful. I'm thankful for my husband, the head of my household. I'm thankful for my children. I am thankful for grace and mercy each and every day anew. And I am thankful that God chose me because I don't believe in accidents. I do believe in planning, but I'm glad that God's purpose is greater than my plan. And I'm glad that he's purposed me to be here at this time, in this moment, and in this space. So with that being shared, I won't prolong. We're going to jump into some slides here, everybody. I'm hoping to keep us less than an hour because I am not here to dictate to you what to do. I am here to empower you and support you in what you are doing or will be doing for North County, for District 4. So this is a part of our District 411 series. I'm going to get back on that. Shantae always said, we're going to video. So I surprised her this year. So I said, I'm ready to video now. So this will be recorded and shared for everybody. But let me tell you what we're here about. Thank you for letting me be myself and calm. I can hold a business meeting and be very professional when it's called for. But today I'm talking with my family and friends about our neighborhood. So the purpose of us gathering, this happened some months ago. We were on a call with subdivisions and somebody said, we have to do some things. I said, yeah, I'm working on putting committees together. That's what I use the word committees. And someone said, no, we should call them Webb Force Teams because playing on my name, of force, but just the fact that we'll all be working collectively together, it just was like, yeah, that's good. So go back one slide, Shantae. Did you hear me?
Hold on. The whole backslide thing on this share screen is a little different.
I'm sorry, though.
It's all right. It's all right.
And I promise the cue for the next to move forward, so we won't have to go through this.
Back. Okay, got it. Give me 1 second. I'm not that technologically savvy. Okay.
She's not telling the truth.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we introduced, so what we came here is because there are certain entities in our community that we have to focus on. And I said this when I knocked on people's doors 2 years ago, almost in this summer till today, that this is not because you elected me. I cannot do this on my own. I'm not smart enough to do this on my own. I don't want to be alone. I want to be a part of a community and a family. So I'm bringing you to the table. Mr. Alonzo, I heard you said, I think I'm the only male. We're going to change that. We're going to change that, and we're going to get others invested in it, engaged. And I have some people that want to be, they just couldn't be here today. But the purpose of us coming together collectively is to focus on entities in our community that we can transform, that we can work together and make sure that we have those amenities, make sure that we have those opportunities, make sure that if you want to eat crepes for brunch on Sunday, that you can go in North County and have those crepes. So there's half a dozen or so, might be a little bit over now, of areas that I want to focus on. So we won't get too much into calendar of events today. We will have open discussion, but I just kind of want to walk you through the purpose of us gathering. I've been excited about this since last year, and this year, after all of what happened last year, I'm determined to see this stand up and take root and grow and thrive. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so here are the areas that we're going to focus on. And this comes, I don't know if many of you participated, but when I first got started last year, I put out a public survey, and I'll be doing one again this year to say, what are your top priorities in North County? What are the things that you need to work on? We need to address in our community. So it's not in here. So things that's going to say we're standing apart from everybody else. We are not the old. We are different, and we are about making better. So things like right now, I'm getting a whole bunch of flack about not approving liquor stores for carry out and package liquor. Look, I love y'all, but I'm not. Now, I am clear, like last night, when we have a liquor store license, a liquor license, and it's for an establishment, a restaurant, some venue, I am approving those, because that's not just grabbing liquor and go. That's actually creating an opportunity that will benefit our community even greater. So that's my that's my cross to bear. And I just want you to know, if y'all hear anybody talk about me, tell them I'm not doing this with malice intent. I'm really trying to help us transform our community. But let's press on to these 6 or so different areas that we want to focus on. So we got community outreach, business engagement, neighborhood beautification, subdivision development and training, economic development, public safety, and youth engagement. Next slide, please. So I know this may be an eyesore, and I tried to blow it up as much as possible, but I'm gonna turn my camera, so excuse me, so I can be a little bigger, because I'm older and I can't see either, and I have my glasses on. So in community outreach, in the next 2 slides, I'm just gonna kind of give an overview so we can be level set on the playing field of what we're talking about. So for community outreach, these are projects and services that we can do in our community that will create an environment of family, of togetherness, of fun, and safety. So that will be from volunteering in certain aspects. If we decide to do that, we being those who want to work on community outreach, for doing family fun events like I am going to want to host this year, family fun in the park with music and a live band. And we'll start small and grow, but I would like for that to be under the umbrella of community outreach, maybe hosting something for a fall festival, or partnering with others to do something for our area as well. And then there are some other things that need to happen in our community that I need help with. So we want a thriving community, and there are areas in our community, and many areas in our community, that can always be increase that standard of living. And so hosting career fairs in community. So community focused career fairs. So going into a community like Castle Point, or in Bell Fountain, or Glasgow, or out here where I am in Barrington, and hosted a very focused community career fair, where we are not just everybody come who want to give out brochures, about jobs. No. We're going to be focused and intentional in diversifying workforces, right? So we want you to come to the table at our community career fair / workforce opportunities and say, hey, I'm Ameren. Hey, I'm Spire. Hey, I'm the labor union. Hey, I'm the pipe fitters. And I'm already pledging to this community that I'm hiring one person out of this community. That's how intentional we want to be in our community fairs. And I've already started last year having these conversations with those particular entities to say, I need you to partner with me. Everybody always asks me, how can I help you, Ms. Well? What you need? I'm good. I work every day. God has gainfully employed me, thankfully. I got a roof over my head and vehicles in the driveway. There are people who don't have those necessities. How can we raise their standard of living? And not just give a handout, a hand up that's going to sustain them and change their bracket and their income levels. So that's what I'm about when I talk about community fairs and workforce opportunities. Let me press a little bit. I'm getting too long-winded. Let me move to business engagement. Time and time again, I hear about businesses in our community, and we thrive and we patronize them, but I don't see that CBA or that community benefit agreement that reciprocates that you're pledging back to our community, that you're invested in our community, that you're going to help our community stay clean by keeping your area and your businesses clean. Now, in some areas it's covered by fluorescent, but I'm really talking unincorporated in a lot of these instances. Another thing is, I need you to be accountable to the level of service that you're giving to our community members. And that's all about that business and the leadership that they put at that place. So how can we help them stay engaged with our community, be accountable to our community, and they can reciprocate that investment that we buy and purchase from them, but then turn back and give back in our communities. And that could be from supporting local youth organizations or youth or all type of things. So I don't want to spell it all out because I'm looking to you for these answers. And moving on now to neighborhood beautification. So the first thing we think about in that is clean up. We got to get this trash up. Hey, everybody, we got to go to another level of picking up trash. Because my heart goes out, and I've only done it a few times, but I know some that do it as a ritual. They getting up out their bed every Sunday and going and cleaning up so many blocks around their neighborhood. So I think we need to elevate that. Not saying we don't do cleanups, but we do things like put on a littering campaign and partner with the Department of Transportation, who's already willing, who's told me they're willing to, what do you need, Ms. Well? What do we need to help you? I want an actual littering campaign. I'm from Texas. Don't mess with Texas. Don't mess with North County, not D4. We don't do that here. And so what does that look like? How do we establish something like that? In addition to that, that beautification can be looking at ways to keep certain, I know Mr. Fred Johnson always saying, somebody needs to clean that island up right there, that light, the grass keep overgrowing. We want to do things like that as well. So I'm looking to that beautification opportunity through that team to give those ideas and help put the vision there, the mission there, and then grow into implementation. The last one on this page is subdivision development. And I want to put a kickstand here real quick. There are some subdivisions that are thriving. They are in my opinion, the cream of the crop, which we aspire for everybody to do. And I truly believe, as I worked in certain neighborhoods, that there are people in each neighborhood that want to do that. But how can that have that support when they don't have 50 people in their neighborhood want to get engaged? They just got 5 or 3. And how can they leverage from other neighborhoods and what they've grown and learned and understand how to maneuver and work things out so they can replicate that in their neighborhoods? I am a firm believer. I'm a software engineer, everybody, by education and trade. And in high school, it's called cheating. And in the real world, it's called reuse. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel if we know we got something working in Spanish Lake or something that's working in Bell Fountain that would be beneficial to Glasgow or beneficial to Castle Point or beneficial to Barrington Down. So working together to get those people that knowledge and then hosting. I know sometimes we go and we say, oh, go here and go there, but it's really, really impactful when I can connect Miss Sarah from one neighborhood with Miss Julie in another neighborhood. And they say, we're going to host a workshop for you all that want to get started. And you learn about whether it's how to make renters responsible, whether it's how do we get a better relationship with our public safety. All of those things, I believe each one teach one. And I'm hoping that subdivision development and training is something that we can use. It can even be where we decide we want to host some type of workshop for all the subdivisions to come. And we get the municipal lead or we get some other entity to come in and host that for us. But giving people those resources. Shantae, will we go to the next slide, please? I'm almost done with these definitions, everybody. So thanks for being patient with me. So in economic development, this is something special. We're talking about, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, Jamestown Mall. So we know they at the end of the year, thankfully, they put out the RFPs for remediation and abatement. We'll be going into another market feasibility study because the last one was done 10 years ago. And I'm like, do we have to do another study? Can we leverage from the study from the zoo or Spanish Lake development or something? But I've been told that we can't. But let me go back specifically just in economic development. One thing that I started last year is I host a quarterly North County Economic Development Coalition meeting. And it's not a very, very snappy name, but basically it's everybody who want to develop in this district, that we come together so you are aware of all the development things that's going on. Who facilitates this for me is the Economic Development Partnership. One thing that I have asked from the Economic Development Partnership and the county is that I would like a site map for usage. Just a 40,000 foot view of all the areas that can be developed and all the development that's going on. So people can see all of this and they can start leveraging and having some synergy. Like, okay, they've been building this over here. This will be good. This can be a complement to that. Oh, we know we have rustic roots right here. We can pull in and maybe pull in some other entities that will benefit rustic roots. So again, bringing us being collaborative and coming to the table. In addition to awareness with that group, it's also supposed to be a resource point for us as well. Now, the Port Authority, the partnership is working on what that vision, what I really want them to pull out. Like if a person come here and they say they need some grants, can you point them in a direction and then maybe beyond pointing in a direction, I want you to extend a little bit more. Can you give them a resource or somebody say, here's you get started with your grants? Or if they understand they need definition and clarification on TIFs and any other incentives that they may be, we can train and let them understand what that means and how that will benefit their development. So that economic development Webb Force team will be engaged in that coalition. And then in addition to that, there is a lot of people want to come to North County. Don't believe the hype, everybody. When people say no one wants to develop in North County, that is the furthest from the truth. And one thing I'm asking developers to do, I'm asking them to take the model that Spanish Lake and the zoo had to make sure they have community engagement. So if McBride come back through here again and they want to do a development, they're going to have community engagement because I've talked to them, I've set those expectations. And so if nobody else goes, there will be representation from the Webb Force Economic Development team. There are other things that team could do as well. I am going to be looking for those interested in serving in that capacity to help develop and not blow up, but develop and mature that vision and purpose. Last three, everybody, thanks for your patience and staying with me. Public safety. So I know that, let me just put this out here. I support policing. I support responsible community engaged policing. Is there some improvements that needs to be done in the police departments? Yes. Is there work on our side? Yes. I tell people all the time, in our crime, in our community, as we want to bring development, as we want to transform our community, we have to talk about the not so good stuff. We have to have ownership in that. It's not just a policing issue, it's a community issue. But how do we get engaged with that? So the police have set forth some programming, and if you attended the town hall we did at the end of the year, it talks about partnering with some of the local churches. It talked about being more visible in the community, not just with the neighborhood policing officers, but bringing certain programs in neighborhoods for the youth, like with PAL, specifically having a location in certain areas for PAL youth. So I'm looking for you all to actually help partner with them. So when Captain Cunningham calls me and I was like, oh, Captain Cunningham, I'm booked. I can say, oh, somebody from our Webb Force safety team will be there to represent us, to make sure that our interests are expressed at the table. So again, that is about bringing forth a more community policing relationship and restoring and creating a new bridge there. Youth engagement. Youth are very important. And if we want to thrive and have a future and have people want to come back and raise their families here, we've got to have involvement with our youth. We need them at the table telling us, don't talk for them. Have them at the table saying, what do we want? How can I get your interest away from something that's not? All those programmings that exist. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we can be a vessel into that wheel. And so working with that team to say, how do we have that focus of our community and how it's actually engaged, and not just for a checkbox. None of this is for a checkbox because all of us are too busy to be checking a box. This is for transformational change. And lastly, many may be on the call that are very passionate about is food insecurities. And so I just simply say here, there are more than traditional ways to address our food insecurities. All of them takes funding. But let's partner with those like Ms. Erica's organization, Red Circle. Let's partner with those like in Evolve to make sure that we and Ms. Janet's Forum, Rustic Roots, I don't want to start naming because I'm going to get in trouble, but let's partner with them. Yes, we're going to go after traditional mechanisms. I'm going to work with those state representatives, calling the meeting to work with a representative Terry and others that represent us at the state level. But let's make sure that that we are part of those conversations and we bring those alternatives. We have SMEs right here in our backyard as it comes to how do we address this. Let's put them in the forefront and let them help champion those changes that we need, whether we create more neighborhood forums, which I'm really interested in doing, in addition to getting traditional grocery stores. Maybe they're not the familiar chain that we currently have, but new grocery stores and even community grocery stores. And so all of these things are already in work. We just need to make sure that we have more visibility for them and that they can have more support for people to help work these things out. So I know I spoke a lot. I'm going to go to the next slide. And before I open up for questions in general, I just want to go over this slide to make sure we understand the foundations of these teams. And then we'll start talking about who will be interested in what and when you can give me their feedback. So each team foundation has to be first. I'm a born girl and I'm a nerd. I need a purpose and a mission, right? I gave some data points for each one of these entities, but I want the team to come together and tell me what is our purpose and mission. I need that team structure. It can be a collaborative group. There does not always have to be, I'm the chair, no. We can be a collaborative group that we can work and respect each other and make sure everybody is contributing. Now, when it comes time out to assign tasks and things of that sort, then we all have to take a role here or there. But I'm not coming with you and saying, well, I need you to all decide who's the chair and who's the vice chair or who's the lead and the co-lead. Some of these things will happen natural when it comes to maybe certain activities. But everybody may not, especially a lot of us on this call, we may not be able to just hold down that fort 1,000%. So we need to talk about that team structure. But I'm not going to dictate that. I want the teams, the Webb Force teams, to make that call. In addition to that, we're going to start sharing contact information once we've actually identified who wants to work in what entity. I do want you to be clear. I want to be clear on this. And please don't take it the wrong way, but take it with an open ear and a kind heart. I don't want one person on more than one team. One, because most of us are already multitasking ridiculously. But two, I really want you to be in that area where you're passionate about, where you can give it your all. Because like I said about life, this is not a dress rehearsal. This might be our shot to do it, get it right with money. Who knows when we'll have funding like this? going back to this foundation, that team cadence, I call it a battle rhythm all the time. But hey, how frequently we meet? Now, as a group, as a whole like this, we'll meet once a quarter. But when you're working in those teams and you're working on an initiative or you're working on some type of activity, yeah, you're going to have to meet as frequent as you as a team decide. That may be twice a month. That may be once a week. That may be once a month. It depends on what's before you. What I will need from the teams, the next data point, is a milestone activity. So some people call them signature event. Again, I'm from Bowen. We call them milestone meetings, right? So I'm going to accomplish this with this customer and go to the customer for this milestone meeting. So that's why I reuse that from. But these milestone activities, let me give an example. So with community engagement, maybe one of our milestones activity is that we're going to have a summer family fun day in the park with music and something like that. Could be that signature event for that team for the year. Or if we look at neighborhood beautification, we can say our milestone activities is once a quarter, we do a cleanup. You understand what I'm saying, everybody? So as it pertains to the team, you have to define what that milestone activity, maybe once a year, or milestone activities or events multiple times a year, something that's reoccurring. So I knocked out both of those data points in not one sentence, but in a couple of sentences. So with that being shared, I know that it's 7 o'clock. I am now wanting to spend the rest of the time engaging with you all to get your thoughts on this, how we can engage, because I know we're on the phone. If you can't see the screen and you want to you can't raise your hand, you can simply speak up. Hey, I would like to say something, say your name, and then we'll make note of that to keep us from talking on top of each other. I hope that was clear to everybody. So questions and answers or comments? Questions and comments, excuse me.
If we don't, I'm sorry. Erica, can you talk about the grocery store? She had something in the chat about her grocery store project, and maybe that's part of something that she could do on the grocery store, food desert park. I don't know what you signed up for. I just volunteered. You did. Oh man.
Well, you are absolutely right. I will, and I'm turning my camera on just for a second, just because I'm sitting in my comfy chair with my robe on, old lady. But yes, so a red circle is endeavoring to open a community-owned and operated grocery store in North St. Louis County. The location that we're looking at is on Newhouse Ferry. It's a former dry cleaner building that has been completely cleaned out and stripped, and we've had an environmental study done on it, and so that's all cool and good to go. Also, on the space is a kind of a grassy area that we will include a demonstration garden so that we can show our shoppers how to grow certain foods that they want to grow at their homes. And inside the store will be a bistro that will host cooking demonstrations for like fresh produce, different ways to cook fresh produce, make it healthy. And the store will sell soup, salads, and wraps. Now that is the extent of the planning of A Red Circle. Like I said, this is going to be operated by the community. We are having our first focus group meeting February 10th, and I'll get all the details of that from our good food organizer. But the plan is for it to be at the Pasta House on West Florissant, because they have that back room where you can just like meet and talk with the doors closed. And so that focus group is going to include everyone who completed our survey, who shared that they want to help in some capacity. Because one of the things we want to get started sooner is the community advisory team. Because we don't want to make too many plans and get too far and start doing a bunch of stuff without the input from the community and from the people who are actually going to be the ones who run it and own the inventory and that type of thing. A Red Circle is raising money strictly to purchase the building, to conduct the community engagement, although we have some funding for that now, and to possibly purchase the first year's inventory and get the staffing going. because we want to get that going so that, you know, once it's turned over to the other owners, they are just set and ready to go. So that is where the store project is. We're going to invite local farmers, local Black farmers in particular, to talk to us about their produce and what they want to, what they can provide to the produce section of the store. We're going to meet with various producers, you know, to see what they do in terms of their value added products, jams and jellies and salad dressings and things. I've got some information about food safety to share with folks so that if they do want to have their products in the store, they know all the food safety requirements that the state has. And we just really want to make this a space where, you know, there's not a lot of, there won't be any junk food, you know, there won't be any liquor, anything that's going to be bad for our bodies, because not only do we want this to be a place where local Black farmers can get their produce sold, you know, it's good to grow food, but you got to have a distribution spot. You got to have a place where people can know that they can come to every day without fail, before work, during lunch, after work, to purchase food. Otherwise, it becomes a, you know, not necessarily a game, but a challenging situation. How do I get the food out? You know, have farmers market this day and food giveaway this day, and where do people go? People need consistency. We all need consistency, whether it is, you know, we have our certain stores that we shop at, or we have certain things that we do every day. People need consistency. So that is the goal of the store project. I'll make sure that you guys get the information about the focus group, you know, date, time, location, make sure all that's squared away, because we definitely want everyone's input. And if anyone wants to invest financially, whether it's donating to the capital campaign now or investing later once the store is open, so that we can have some money for the ownership part of it, just let us know.
Thank you, Miss Erica. And one thing that I should say also with these teams, some of this is a lot of the lifting that will be on some of these teams is just sharing, getting that information out so people know about it. I used to say this when I was the president of our parent organization at my kids' school, and they used to have meetings at 9:30 in the morning, like 9 to 11 in the morning. I was like, y'all don't work. So what I'm getting at is, just because I can't be in attendance, that doesn't mean I don't care. See, I have to do something unique sometimes and creative so I can give my contribution and participate. And so sharing that information is going to be a big part of these Webb Force teams, whatever entity you're in, or whatever focus you're focusing, you're going to be working with. Getting the information out is going to be a big part of some things that we do as in the Webb Force teams. Hey, did anybody else have a question about the teams or anything they want to share in general? I can't see hands, I'm sorry. Is anybody has their hands up? Okay, so no one else wants to speak up at this time. So let me tell you next steps, because I'm a big next step, so everybody know where we're going. So after this phone call tonight, you don't just put the idea in the back of your mind. Shantae is going to email every participant on this call the presentation. Between the two of us, like she doesn't have enough work to do, we're going to contact you. So we're going to send a presentation out with these steps. Please let us know by close of business on this Friday, not next Friday, this Friday, which specific team you would like to work with. Now, if you already know it, you can put it in the chat right now. Hey, Shalonda, you ain't got to bother with me. Look, I'm working on beautification. Thanks. Shalonda, you know what I'm here about. I'm working on food insecurities. Thank you. But if you don't know tonight, by Friday, once you get this presentation emailed to you, it'll ask you I have to watch my tongue. It would ask you by Friday, close of business, to submit or send back to us which team you would like to participate on. If I don't hear from you by next Friday, because I know y'all my people, right? We good people. We know each other. We care about each other. We care about this community. Then I'm going to pick up the phone and call. And don't call or ID me. I'm going to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, Mr. Alonzo, did you say you want to be on economic development, or did you say neighborhood beautification? That's just how direct I want to be about this, because I don't have the leisure time. We are in the process of identifying programs and appropriating funds. And I want to make sure that we are part of those conversations. That's the bottom line. And then lastly, once we have everybody identified on this call who wants to work with what, I have some people that wasn't available for this call that they definitely want to be engaged. We're going to get them into the pot. And then by close of business next Friday, you will get another email with an update saying, here are all the people for each one of the Webb Force teams. Here's their contact information. Now, the first meeting for each Webb Force team, I am going to be a part of. I'm going to make sure it happens within the month of February. Okay? Those after that, I'm going to be there as much as possible, but I will always be at our quarterly Webb Force meeting team where you all will be reporting out once a quarter what's the activity, what's the help needed. And you don't have to wait till that report out, but you'll be letting me know the status of what we're doing and what we're focusing on. Again, I'm not looking to start everything anew. We can work with wheels that's already built. Let's work within those wheels. But again, this is for transformational changes. So to be clear, Shantae, you're sending out an email with the presentation and asking all those who haven't identified by tonight, no later than Friday, close of business, 5 p.m. Central Time, to let us know what team you want to be on. If I have not heard for those participants on this call by then, I will be doing a personal phone call over the weekend and say, hey, let me know, Miss Janet. I know you're busy over there at Rested Root, but we really need you represented on our food insecurities. All right, Kelly McGowan, you got a whole lot going on. You probably can't do food insecurities, but I might need you to focus a little bit more on our youth or even our economic development. I'm just going to be that open with you all. And I'm hoping that you receive me in good love. Miss Julie, same case. I know you're busy with Spanish Lake, but what is something in your warehouse like subdivision development and training that you could probably lend your expertise in direction on? Same for Miss Cookie and so on and so forth.
So for clarity, I'm sending the PowerPoint presentation. This video still has to be edited. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, the second ask that I have for each member on this team is we need to identify more people. But let me talk about the size of the teams. I'm not looking for teams to be 30 people deep. Now you can have sub teams when you're trying to execute on a milestone or an event, and you can bring some people in to help. But to be effective in collaboration, we want to try to keep those teams at the 10 number, right? I'm more partial to 7, but 10 is a good number as well. I don't think being too much larger than that, especially as we are starting off and setting foundation and expectation and getting all that together, I think we need to keep it close knit. Does anybody have any pushback on that or any thoughts on that? Let's talk to me.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Do you know how many Webb Force people in total you'll have?
So if I was to fill all 6 teams with at least 10 people, we're looking at 60 people, right? Right now, we got there's a couple of teams that has nobody identified that they want to work on. Again, I'm not looking just to fill a box of a person on a sheet. I really want those persons to be passionate about that specific area. So, yeah. Did I answer your question, Ms. Erica? Right now, I don't know those numbers, but if I was to get a utopia response for that, and each team had 10 people, that would get us the whole organization will be approximately about 60 people, 62, including me and Shantae.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else have pushback on the number and size of the team? Not so much pushback, but just conversation with me about the size of the team, starting out anywhere between 7 and 10 being our ceiling at this point, and 7 being our goal. Anybody have some comments about identifying other people? So here's the thing with identifying other people. We want to make sure it's their passion. So if you know of a friend, I'm not asking you to go knock on doors and ask people to participate. But if you know somebody that has a passion and you've worked with them before, realistically in the area, you feel like they would be a benefit, you might want to just say, hey, would you at least come check it out, see if you want to talk about it when we set up that first meeting? Because it's about passion here. It's not about titles. It's not about a whole bunch of people. It's about people that's passionate, that's going to grind it out and get it done. And what that grinding out does or looks like, I'm not for certain. But it may depend based on what event and activities you are hosting or wanting to transform in our community, how much effort it's going to take. Okay, we're pretty silent. I don't know, Miss Julie or Kelly or Miss Cookie, or I'm gonna start calling names. Any thoughts about this? Any pushback on this? It's like, Shalonda, you dreaming.
I put in there already, whatever, I want to just help people. I want to connect with the people and be able to help people that don't have 2 cents, get them 2 pennies. I want to be able to guide people and give them information. I want to be able to inform them. So wherever I fit with that.
Okay. Well, that's on every team, because there's some communication that needs to go out. There's some touching people and getting them engaged. So we'll definitely find a spot. We'll definitely not find a spot. You'll have a purpose in place on any one of these teams.
We had 2
Anyone?
guests join.
Who just called?
We have 2 guests join, Miss Davis and Miss Keys.
Hi, Miss Davis and Miss Keys. Thanks for joining us. You want to introduce yourselves?
I am Melanie. I am Melanie Davis, and I'm right now I'm a member of Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Gamma Omega Chapter, and my very good friend is Shalonda. So I will work wherever you need me. But I'd like to do community outreach and economic development. That's where I see my fit.
Thank you so much, Melody. So we getting personal here. We still with family. So Miss Melody is my soror. She's also alumni from my university, Fisk University. She takes care of my son, who's right now at Fisk University. And so she is a giver at all times. She's always doing for others in the community. So thank you for pouring into District 4 and expanding yourself even more, Miss Soror Davis. So again, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Yes, ma'am. There was another guest, Miss Keys, that joined us.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Daria Keys. You can call me Dee. I'm the good food organizer for A Red Circle for the grocery store project. I'm more of a person like you just tell me what you do and I do it. So whatever you need me to do, just let me know. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Keys, and thank you for joining us today. So I love implementers. That's what I call you, an implementer. I told my husband all the time, you the visionary, I'm the implementer. You tell me what you want, what you seen in your mind, and I'm gonna make it happen. So I love implementers. So thank you for joining us. And again, if you haven't decided, we'll have those conversations one-on-one on seeing where we can best purpose and where you would like to serve in this capacity. Again, I'm not asking anyone to take on take on everything on their own. We're all going to contribute. We're all going to do a piece of this. And so as we learn more, we'll do more. And I'm really want us to work smart. You know, to me, that's reuse. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Somebody did this already. Find me their document so I can duplicate it.
All right. Quick question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Alonzo.
With the business engagement, can I get a little bit more information on when we say business engagement? Are we looking at small businesses, minority businesses, businesses that either the owners live in the district or the business operate out of the district? And how do we engage or get, how do we get activity within, I guess, our city, our county, our district? For instance, as a lot of our small businesses are trying to get their DBEs, MBEs, all of that other kind of stuff. And as a small business, we are forced to prove that we are minority owned when other businesses don't have to do that. And then in order to be able to compete on the level to be able to get contracts, to be able to work for our government agencies or in our communities, we have to go against those other companies who already have the dollars. I know the SBA have money set aside for this that, and the other. Do we have anything within St. Louis County, or the money that's coming in? Do we have monies allocated for small businesses to be able to either start up and or increase our ability to work in our communities?
So I can answer the first questions. When we talk about the businesses, we're talking about those businesses within District 4, or their owners live within District 4. We want them engaged. And I was initially just focused on those businesses in the area because I want them to care about us as much as we need them. You know, when we patronize their stores and things of that sort, what are you putting back in our community? So that was my first thought. The other side of, or not the other side of the spectrum, the other arm that you brought attention to is there are businesses, minority businesses in our communities that need information on how to become a part of, or how to get contracts to get county business. And so maybe that would be something that we would do for inside of our business team. Is one thing that we could do is say, let us host an event where we train or we bring forth people out of the county to talk to them about, and it's so funny, I just was working with some MWBE legislation. Whew. But talk to us about what those programs are and what are those qualifiers and how do you get certified and all of those things that you need to be considered, I won't say legitimate, but a certified MWBE business that you can now be considered to be a subcontractor or a prime on a county project. And so we can do that as well. And in the interim, Mr. Alonzo, if you specifically need that contact information, you just let our office know, and then we'll make sure you're in contact with that right person out of the MWBE office, program office. Does that make sense, sir? Does that answer your questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. And you will not be the only male in the future. I just want you to know that, even if I got to get my husband to come sit on the side of me. But anyway, all is well. Thank you for joining us, sir. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, by show of hands or voice, do y'all think I'm just dreaming, or do you see value here?
Yes.
Yes.
I see value here.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
I see value, and I'm dreaming with you.
I am too, because my dream is for all those, when Snooks sold those shopping stores, my dream is for those buildings, somebody to go into them buildings. I don't know if they need to be shopping, grocery stores, something needs to go in those vacant buildings. They're just sitting there.
Yes,
and I'm sure that we can find somebody to go into those vacant buildings. The old Kmart store, all those areas that are vacant need somebody to go into them.
And as we go through this process, everybody, we're going to learn. That's what I've been doing all years, learning. You know, there are municipalities like what Kmart and Shop and Save is. That's a part of Florissant. I know that they are working some development plans for certain buildings. They've been developing, even going towards closer to Hazelwood. And so even if we just have a chance to sit down and talk with them and say, tell us what you have going on. And then can we communicate that? Sometimes there's communication out there and we might not just be plugged into that outlet, right? But then sometimes we got to do some different type of communication, you know, like I'm not going to be on social media and get the latest tweets and all of those things. But Ms. Webb, out of decency for all of your communication, out of your community, can you put something together? Can you put a door hanger together and say, this is what's going on from an economic development perspective in District 4? So these are kind of the ideas that I want generated. How do we communicate better? Let's put a flyer together and say, we have these Webb Force Teams, or not a flyer, a door hanger. And let's put, hey, I need to get engaged. I was just telling Stephen, I said, Stephen, I want a door hanger. So as soon as it warms up, that I start dropping and say, hey, I'm serving you. I need to hear from you. Here's what's going on. And here's how you can be engaged. So those communication tools, some of them be a lot of walking. I got to share some pounds anyway. So it is now 7:31. I did not want to spend more than an hour of take more than an hour of your time. If you have any other thoughts, if you have any other guidance and directions, don't be shy and don't be hesitant to share that with us. I am wanting to learn. And I want to make sure that these teams, these Webb Force teams, have what they need to thrive, from people resources to other resources to help them make a difference in our community. Oh, one last thing. Each one of the Webb Force teams, I would like for us to, once we get into we actually have your first meeting for that team, to identify a color, because we're going to be getting these Webb Force t-shirts. And basically on the front, it's just going to say District 4, D4, or District 4 family. And on the back, it'll say Webb Force team, and whichever is beautification, neighborhood subdivision. And then my favorite slogan, hashtag fighting for North County's future. So that'll be coming, and that will be, you know, something that you can use as a handout to other people. We'll see, as many as we can get paid for, we'll get them done. That's all I have, everybody. I know it wasn't earth shattering, but to me, to see us just have this conversation is something I've been trying to do for over 6 months. So I'm so glad that we had this initial conversation today. And then we'll be following up by Friday with you on where you want to be of service. Any other questions?
No, I just think it's really a good idea, and I think you're going to get a lot accomplished. And I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to think of people to get engaged in this.
Thank you so much, Ms. Julie. And I don't want, you know, I know a lot of these people on the call real busy. That's why we got to reach out to others, because I don't have a cloning machine yet. I've been trying to work on one, but it doesn't work quite right. It come out, people don't look the way people should look. I'm just kidding. We don't have cloning machines, and we don't want to burn anybody out, because we want you here to enjoy long-term, everybody, the benefits and the fruits of our labor, because it will be beneficial. It will be beneficial in North County. Thank you, Miss Julie. Anyone else have a go back? I love you all. I don't say that lightly. I love you all. Why am I getting emotional? Because this is why when people say, why are you doing both of these things, Shalonda? Because they got good people that want to do good things in our community. And the action, somebody just put actions over talk. That's what we're going to be about, action. I love the way Evolve talks about that all the time, action. We action oriented. So nothing else, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in. I will be calling by the weekend if I don't hear back from you. You can bet your bottom dollar. Bye-bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Good night.
Good night, y'all.
Good night. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Shalonda.
Good night.
Good
Good night,
night.
everyone.
Bye, bye.